process on our first matchup. It is going to be Big Cheese on the left, playing his Tempest Pink deck that he has been working on basically the whole year. And on the right, we have Taft playing his Ambassador of Loyalty farming deck, virtually friendless. Cheese was involved in a pretty, unfortunately we didn't get to see his top 16 match on the stream last night, but I know, based on the updates I heard from it, it was a pretty grueling control versus aggro ordeal for him. We know his deck is certainly capable of pulling out a tough win when necessary. So what do you think of this matchup, Smithers?
Let's see. Well, I've definitely seen Cheese's deck a few times before. I remember playing against it. I think that was on stream at GalaCon.
Yeah, Cheese was at GalaCon this year, right?
He was, yes.
How'd that go?
I believe that's the only game I lost in that tournament. So it's obviously a pretty good deck. I mean, the fact it's in the top 4 here, it's a pretty good deck.
So Trixie's a villain. Starlight's also a villain.
Naturally, he was playing with Old Money and Portal for most of the year, but it would seem that even without those two, it's good enough.
Yes, you would expect those to be a big loss for his deck, but he seems to have survived well enough without them.
Old Money was, well, kind of replaced by Evil Twin, and Portal we just, well, it's just good that Portal's gone.
Yeah. Of course, in this matchup, Evil Twin is not a very good replacement for Old Money because his main target would not have been Friends.
Yeah, this is very true. All of Cheese's single target removal, of which he has a fair amount of it, is going to be virtually useless here.
But if he doesn't, then it's pretty much the only way to swap their trade traditions into an interest.
He's only going to be able to use it on those Catterjacks, and those Catterjacks will have already done their thing by the time it happens.
Alright, Grandpa's is just going to give us the deck lists here, I think. Yeah. So as we've seen before in all the sort of counter farm matches that we had in the tournament prior, I expect that Cheese's big cards are going to be his bait and switches, his ability to put them in at immediate speed with Party Clasher.
Can she fetch herself off of uniqueness violation?
Yep.
School shutdown, cracking the case, yeah. Well, school shutdown isn't very good for him either.
No, he's going to be keen on getting a setup with AT generators and so on, and he doesn't want to replace everything away from that. But if necessary, it's a trick that he's got.
Yes, Fanman, I'm pretty sure we're going to have our head judge, well, not necessarily hovering over this game, but floating about, likely. On the other side of the bracket, our other semifinal is Bugle, coming through with his somewhat more traditional Ambassador of Loyalty farm, playing against
There is one
Joshua Stewick. with his Lyra Orange. And naturally, we'll have updates of that match as it progresses as well.
Bodyguards and a bunch of friends.
Players, it is time for deck lists here. Deck lists, present your opponent's deck back to them. Does anyone have any questions before we begin? Can I use you to cut his deck, just so I don't touch his stuff?
Yes, Taft is currently under the weather a bit here. He was sick this morning, has made the trek out, but understandably going to be limiting his interaction with Cheese's cards. And yes, unfortunately the sun rose again, so we have our glare back. But it comes...
Oh, indeed.
Along with it comes higher frame rate and better stream quality, so I think I'm willing to take the trade-off.
I guess we can't have everything.
It's almost as if I was planning on watching it anyway. I can sabotage it if I need to.
Oh yeah. You can cut it. I'm gonna mull.
As far as Taft goes, I imagine, well, farming usually just wants to do what it does and not get interfered with, so he's going to be looking for his fuel, troublemakers, villains, do his best to just keep going.
Yeah, that's basically how that deck wants to run, is farm villains, do its thing, and hope Grandpa's Big Cheese isn't able to stop him.
Now with the sleeve swamp.
Our favourite swamp is back again.
That's still my highlight of this game. Coming up and going just on the $5 slot. Okay, I'm ready to go.
Alright, and we're underway.
A little pinkie pie head to indicate his second colour.
That opening hand for Taft looks okay. He's got a Flash Magnus' shield. I see one Troublemaker. Although I suppose he's going to be losing that villain probably. Oh no, Mimics.
No, that's a Mimics. He is going to be paying extra for that villain though. Which means he won't be able to play the Troublemaker until next turn.
Okay, well, he's going to confront with that staff though anyway.
Yep.
Now, I feel like over the course of this tournament, I've often just been, by default, assuming that it was going to be Grubber all the time, but it's been Mimics more often than not.
And I had to assume Mimics is
It certainly has.
And yesterday, Paige has said that it's just because everyone's got Fire Friendship, and while that is true, it would be, well, that is what Fire Friendship was supposed to do, so I guess that's good news.
That's what it's doing. Of course, there are some advantages, even if they do have a Fire of Friendship, which is that you get to see their hand. Therefore, potentially know what tricks they're likely to pull in the ensuing turns.
So Chi is unfortunately can't really play a friend here, or at least has to think real close about it, because any friend that gets played will just get challenged, and Taft will get his flip off.
Playing friends to home where they're safe.
Rip. Yes. Pass. Pass turn calling Homemaker.
Well, Taft does have another staff, which he will probably play.
Mm-hmm.
Staff guide. Sure.
That will turn a Rainbow Dash over by starting a face-off.
It also means that Taft can consider going and beating up that Mimics. If he wants to.
And he seems to content to confront this problem for 1 point. A turn, I think, is at 3 now.
That is what I have as well.
I'll pass turn. Calling Homemaker.
Seeing a number of epics in Taft's hand now.
Mm-hmm. And the one thing we know about... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, and he has enough AT to play one of them, even through the tax,
Yeah.
if he really needs to.
Yeah, so one thing we know about Taft's deck is he often does have a bit of a surplus of AT, so eventually that Mimics tax will just not be relevant.
For now, there, he gets his 4th confront.
Placing. Two done right.
Mm-hmm. As soon as Cheese gets his any resource removal, he's back on the friends again.
Pass turn. Calling Homemaker.
Throne off the top is a little interesting. Pretty early in the game to play it. But could end up being useful this game.
Could. I do see another Luna's Future in Cheese's hand.
And that likely will be the target of that in his future.
Fine.
It's worth saying, as far as resource removal goes, Cheese does only have the 3 Luna's Futures and the 1 Rest in Pieces. So getting rid of 2 staffs for it so far is definitely good.
He is halfway through that already.
I suppose School Shutdown does technically count as well, which he has in his hand right now. But that would be a very desperate play.
Yep. And there goes the shield.
What that means is, presumably, if Cheese is like, well, as we know, he's only got 1 piece of resource removal left now, that throne could potentially be really useful in the late game.
Pass turn. Calling Homemaker. I'll move to face off. Sure.
Gonna give it a go. 5 on 6. He's 2 down, I believe. This fires a 6.
Run hurt. Tide. White.
Still down. Join hurt again.
Purple. Okay. Yeah. That's ties down by 2.
Okay, that does it.
Oh, that will win.
One knock damage.
He does have white and purple on his main this turn, if he wants to use them for anything.
I can't imagine that he will. If he'd chosen orange, he could have played a Catajack off it, but obviously he doesn't intend to.
Well, he is going to put the throne out.
Oh, there we go.
Oh, I moved to confront. Sure. 7.
But for those who don't remember, throne is cheese pays +1 to play cards during face-offs. Opposing chaos abilities don't trigger, and the pay 2 at the start of your turn to score a point.
All of which, in this instance, are useful abilities.
So that was a Twilight and rarity to get that Mimics back into play, right?
I don't know. I can't see anything at that problem.
Yeah, good point.
Grandpa says it is.
218.
And that is Big Cheese off the mark with his first point.
That is fine. My thing is or possibly 0.
Yeah. Sorry.
Yes, and a bait and switch, which replaced the other problem.
Ah, I see. Okay. Unfortunately, those may as well be index cards for all we can see of them. He paid full price for that, I guess? Full price and then some?
Yep.
84 5.
Makes sense. I think Taft believes that he's in a good position right now. With that throne, knowing that Cheese is low on resource removal, he's willing to try racing him a bit.
I'm gonna pay 1.
And I think Cheese just going for his school shutdown now. Because we know he has that in his hand. It's pretty clear he's going to play it at some point over the course of this game. Question is when he decides it's worth it.
Oh, sorry. This.
I was just about to ask what was with the face down black card there.
Well, Cheese sees that Troublemakers is definitely the right call on his Mimics.
and elects to remove Taft's school shutdown.
Absolutely the right call. No. Jesus is the one with a board who will lose most if school shutdown gets played. Discord on Twilight already? Makes sense.
No, I think that was bait and switch.
Or, sorry, bait and switch, yeah. My mouse said the other one, yeah.
I think that looked like Sonata.
It was, yeah.
Pass turn. Calling trouble.
Yes, he did need one extra power to confront the problem. So, will be the major purpose of that.
Taft continuing to use his AT on throne. He's got basically nothing else in his hand to use it on, so makes sense. Gonna go for the face-off.
Down by one.
Taft does have a Catajack in his hand now, which he is likely going to consider playing at some point.
Take this one.
It's a board clear that doesn't shuffle the discard piles, and thus will leave Cheese still without his resource removal.
Final side asks if Cheese has Zakora, I assume referring to the one that banishes for entry and prevents opposing main characters from contributing to face-offs. He does not in this list.
Okay, one. Dark card. What? Dark card.
Yes, Cheese's deck isn't super teched against farm. He was kind of targeting the mid-range decks instead.
Pay 2 to banish your throne.
There is the last Luna's feature.
Pay 2. For Twilight and Rarity.
That's going to be his Grubber back.
It's going to get the Grubber, come back, immediately leave.
It's going to get rid of the Catajack, I assume.
Yep. Very quickly picked that one out.
So with that, Cheese's position looks like it's starting to stabilize. He's got his board up now. Got his AT.
For one. I
Yep.
will retire this. Draw cards.
Does not want to be losing cards to Chrono Trigger's banishment.
Okay. Did I score my point?
Yes.
I did. Okay. So I'll go to end of everything. Get rid of those 3 and get rid of that one. Calling
Let's see, school shut, or sorry, evil twin. Because actually two evil twins.
Looks like it.
Still calling from.
And a school shutdown, okay. Makes sense. He's dealt with the resources. Yeah, Taft is down. Yeah, I think now he just has to burn through that mimic tax.
Yep.
His hand's got actually nothing else to do in it. Plenty of shadows, of course, since he is hoping on beating it and then pulling a Catajack with it. And I think Cheese is now digging for a bait and switch, probably.
Could be.
He's got two Selenas in play, so he can dig pretty deep.
That might have been a Discord in hand, which would have the same effect.
Yeah, Discord would also work.
Desperate crack search.
Oh, that was a crack. That will also work just fine.
That will certainly do.
Wait, Joshua's playing with this card deck, not you.
They played out the same one first. Now back in the second.
Case of fail. I did that wrong. Oh no, I did that right.
He's, I think, just thinking about what he's willing to discard.
Okay.
Looks like it.
I'll meet the score face. I'll confront for one. And I'll pass turn, calling Colby. Oh, sorry, stuff.
It was like belly flop and basically a bunch of removal that isn't going to mean anything.
Yep.
Yeah, so this will be challenge and presumably cracking the case, if it looks like.
Nope.
Nope. Not even going to get to a challenge.
Not gonna happen.
Banish that, please.
And that should be banished, not discarded. Quickly fixed.
Meanwhile, yeah, Taft still has no choice other than to just keep on biting that bullet.
Yep. Yes, with Rainbow Dash getting an extra flip at that problem, I don't think there was any chance of Cheese winning the face-off.
Well,
And it's time for Cheese to dig for another answer.
You're welcome.
this tap.
That's fine.
We're gonna pay. Sorry, we're gonna pay one to misfire you.
Yeah, so, yeah.
Card.
Can I get, I remember that really good.
Pay three.
Oh, now he can just mismain for his crack again. That actually makes a lot of sense.
Yep.
No. That's fine. Just me. Getting back cracking case.
Yeah.
Score point.
Yeah.
Score fade. Confront for one. I'll select.
So if you're Taft now, do you have to like dig for one of your own school shutdowns?
Calling.
I assume he has more than one. We've already seen one banished.
Well, that's a throne. That is also an idea.
Can be helpful, especially with Big Cheese out of resource removal.
I'm fine with that.
Yep.
Okay.
Cheese lets it go through.
Okay. Alrighty, that affords another troublemaker.
Mm-hmm. I guess if you're Taft, you see the light. Think to yourself, well, I have a chance. Battle the white will be the throne.
Yep.
Now, Cheese can mismain back one of his Luna's futures if he's got the other one. And there it is.
Can I get a color marker? And it would just and because I bought especially they said I got one for light today, I'm like, I'll take this one.
How many villains are in your?
I don't believe Cheese has any other form of recursion beyond the Mistmain left, with the school shutdown already gone.
Yep. But I don't believe Taft has any real way of interfering with the Mistmains, aside from again his own school shutdown. That is a fair question from the chat. If Taft has a villain in his hand, why not play it to the train traditions?
Then I'll pay for missing. To get back.
Guess he wasn't. Before your process of training is resolved. Oh, you already did. I'm sorry.
I'll skip
Was about to Luna's future the throne there, but perhaps needs to hold on to extra 80.
Yep.
Oh, he has done it. He will get the prepared trigger if Taft challenges the troublemaker, assuming it's not a villain.
pass turn, calling
Alright. That does draw a school shutdown off the top.
What did you pull off?
I pulled the Luna's feature. Oh,
Strixie.
well, and you are at 15. Okay, you get
I think cheese is.
fire. This card. Draw a card. This card will. Not this card. This one. Play.
Oh my goodness. Almost
Oh.
clairvoyant almost to put the grubber out exactly when Taft draws the school shutdown.
I know. Taft couldn't have afforded it this turn, but he would have been able to next time.
One.
I believe there should be one in the banish and one just discarded.
Yep. There's one left.
Passing? Sure. Let's game 5.
Cheese's deck is starting to get pretty small over there.
Well, if he keeps using those Salinas, he keeps dragging cards out of it.
I'm gonna Selena.
Yep. Finds a bait and switch, which I think is the one he wants to keep.
Goes up. I'm gonna spend 2 to get back this thing. So discard the top 3 cards of your deck. No points. Yeah.
Taft losing his own misfire is a problem for him.
A1, the misfiring. Right.
Cheese has a very good inherent understanding of how control is supposed to play. Whether it be through discard, or the removal, or the mill, or... He always seems to just know exactly which button or which lever to pull to do the most damage.
I'll go to Smartface. Confront for 1. Pass turn, calling Troublemaker. And we'll get rid of
Get rid of a nap cakes. No use for that in this match.
But yeah, Taft has to draw for his last school shutdown. And he knows it now. Thing is, we know that that's a grubber. So if he does draw into it, it's just gone.
He has to also believe that's a grubber, right? There's no reason for Cheese to play a second Mimics to the same problem.
Also true.
Calling?
Didn't catch what he said.
Me neither.
In any event, he's just putting it out to avoid his hand limit, yeah.
Unimportant. Or avoid losing it to grubber.
Ah, he said yellow.
Okay.
Ridiculous. Bottom. Ridiculous. Bottom.
His deck is... Okay, yeah. Cheese's deck is just a Mimics and a Barrel. Now it's just a Mimics.
Filmmaker phase. Scrubber.
So activating Selena now will leave more cards in his deck than at the start of the activation.
At this point, I'll get rid of flashbangs as shield. Now we're doing a bunch of exhausting. You know what would be cool if I remembered the triggers? +5 up to my math. That's 12. Yes. Okay. Is that 4 points?
Yes, that's 4 missed main points. Not quite enough cheese.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I have not been keeping track of Cheese's score very well through the last few turns.
Yeah, he's on 9. 1 point short if he miss mains.
3. We'll play this main, this main, score point, put corn into play. Row 12. I got 3 more, that's 6. This main, point. 3. This main.
Yes, he will. Now, if he manages to double with these remaining 3 AT, he'll win.
Let's see, he has 5 power at that problem now,
And it's an 8,
and needs 8.
so just move his main up.
So move Tempest.
Screwed am I?
Well, he does have to win the face-off, and presumably, well, he knows Taft's hand is all troublemakers, so there's no tricks.
Yeah.
Now I'm a little okay.
Looks like he's elected just to play it safe, though.
Using Selena to refill his deck.
Yes.
Alright, Taft's got 1 draw for school shutdown, essentially.
I'll call event.
Right, but Cheese knows it. He's gonna call
Yep.
events. It means that Taft has 1 draw. He can afford 1 draw and still barrel and pay the 8 cost for school shutdown.
Mm-hmm. Looks like that's the counting he's doing.
And that's game.
I didn't even start the thing.
1 hour and 21 minutes.
Okay, game 1 has taken pretty much a third of the time available.
Yeah, impressive play from Cheese that whole time. Got to a sizable deficit early on, but stabilized, built his board, and made the right decisions all the way through.
Like you say, he is very good at playing control and knowing what trick he needs to use at the right time.
Taft's deck is half face up, half face down right now. I hope he fixes that. Okay, there we go. Yeah, GP, if you're listening in, perhaps a little bit of insight. Chat's wondering why Taft couldn't just play a villain to the train traditions. Okay, fair enough. Apparently, it was merely an oversight on his part. Which, again, yeah, he's sick this morning. Guess we can't. I mean, those are the mistakes that cost you games, but understandable, I suppose.
Okay, congratulations on your victory.
Alrighty. So, Cheese took a slight break. We're going to get back into it.
Joking Luna. Can you figure out what you owe me for
I paid you yesterday.
Oh, you did?
Yeah,
Okay.
I gave you 20.
Oh yeah, that was fine. Yeah, you did. It was good. Who hasn't paid yet? Lunch yesterday. Kevin, did you pay me yesterday, Kevin?
I played Limmer to no.
I don't know. You got 2 chili dogs? And that's it? 16.
Alrighty. Over on the other side of the room, Josh is up 1 game over Bugle.
Okay, so that is both of the farm players losing their first game here.
I was kind of holding out for a farm versus farm final, but well, still possible. But they'll have to work at it now.
Indeed, they would.
There you go. They need 3 rounds, but
Check myself. Oh yeah, we already did this one first.
Meanwhile, it would be kind of justice for Cheese to make it all the way. His deck, as we mentioned at the start of the stream, was basically the king of the hill for the entire season of core this year. So would not be undeserved if he took Continentals on as well.
Probably. I mean, you still had a crack in hands, you still had options, you still had AT, but like, I think I would have been able to bust through just with the amount of troublemakers I had on hand.
Yeah.
And different times on the field.
Oh wait, are you guys done?
Yeah.
You're just taking a break now.
Oh, okay. It was game. I said game.
Okay, I missed that.
So I kept saying game.
Got third staff. Nice too.
How many of your resources did I have to take out?
Here.
2 sticks, 2 shields, 2 throws.
Freaking recursion. This deck is supposed to overwhelm your resource removal. You cheat, they say.
That's why I miss veins in the deck.
One of the two. Either run hit and resource and no friends.
That is not a very well. This is the mulligan, but that is not a very good looking hand for Taft.
Yep.
Meanwhile, on Cheese's side, also a little bit subpar. He's got some troublemakers, but he doesn't have any T-gens that I can see. Taft's gonna come out swinging.
Pony of Shadows and a barrel to get it out of Grubber.
He's had so much success with the opening mimics, yeah. One has to believe he'll put it out again. And one wonders if he will call resources instead. Wow. Again, he had so much success calling troublemakers, I assume he'll do it again.
Troublemaker.
And so he does. Taft will move Rainbow Dash up, ready to confront next turn.
So far, a very standard opening.
Has decided he now fears resource removal more than hand destruction and pulls the barrel back.
He does have an opening. Cheese's hand is not ideal. That Grubber is essentially the only thing he can do. Not quite sure why Cheese played that Sonata. I mean, it gives him enough rec to play bait and switch.
Yeah, with the threat.
But he's not close to his hand limit.
And there's no need to have the requirement until next turn. In fact, even the turn after.
Yes. That's down by 1.
Barrel back out of the hand.
I suppose that's a good point, yes. Grandpa's brings up. If Taft had beaten Pony of Shadows, Kajak would have gone to Trained Visions, presumably hit the Mimics, or, defeated the Mimics, and been a DFO. With Kajak's Diligent. Or rather, with Trained Visions being 4. And so... Or wait. Well, that would still have been a DFO, wouldn't it?
Let's see, eccentric 2. Yeah, a Catajack plus a diligent counter
Yeah, because she goes to
would be
6.
would be 6 power, which is just enough. Using the opportunity to make notes this time.
Oh, I see. Okay, yeah. It's not the eccentric, it's the ability to steal Catajack. Sure.
Storm, double cannons,
Calling Colin Maker.
Yep, she's ready with the flip. 9, they are tied. Yep. That is Taft ahead.
That is 3 ahead for Taft.
That stays there.
Question.
Yes.
Do I have priority before he does when after everything resolves?
In regard to
Who has priority first? Once Catajack hits the field.
so the face-off will move to its ending window, and during the ending window of the face-off, the player who started the face-off has priority first. That will be after opponent Chalice was defeated, but before the face-off has been defeated.
Okay.
So Ponius still moves. I get the point. I'll just search for cat efficiencies.
Yep. So the question obviously is, given the Catajack's going to be entering, Taft wonders, he's going to put it there.
Mm-hmm.
And he'll have one priority window in which to do something before Cheese can steal it. I haven't been paying attention to his hand. I'm not sure exactly what he wants to do with it.
Let's see, he had 2 Catajacks. The school shut down. A special beam cannon.
Ah, Shipackley. That makes sense.
Sipackley.
And there's a belly flop. Yeah.
Sipackley must have been his draw for this turn because it wasn't there before.
Cheese draws another Sonata. His hand still looks not that great.
Right.
Profess? Yep. For 114.
Hey. Face off.
Nope.
No face off.
Why?
Eccentric.
Oh.
Raymond is no longer confronting.
Still calling Troublemaker.
Alright. Gonna go for that Mimics finally. School shutdown is still not the draw for Cheese. actually not sure what he wants to do right now. I mean, he wants to find his AT generators, essentially. Selena, Starlight. Yep, he's going to draw.
Twilight and Starlight.
Yeah,
Selena generates cards
it's true. Also good, like
Well,
something to thin
it's
his
also
deck
good.
out. Yeah.
and can be useful to find the AT.
I'll go to Scarface. Up for one. Pass turn, calling.
That was a second Mimics he just played there, I believe.
I believe so, yeah. Has reason to believe this one's probably not long for this world.
Certainly.
I'll move to face off.
And there it goes.
And if you're Taft, I guess, well, Troublemaker tax is still in effect. But maybe you bite the bullet and play one over there. You know, well, you can guess based on that Cheese doesn't have any immediate speed tricks or cracking the case or whatever. Oh, he's going to play his throne.
Right, so here comes the changing throne.
Okay, so I need 3 of. Good.
Oh, he's found a Paper Twilight.
3.
And there it is.
Scarface. Confront for 1. Pass turn, calling Troublemaker.
It's a small thing, but the snowball has started to roll for Cheese. Paper Twy is probably the best of the cards. Thins the deck out, gets some AT. Yeah, helps him find all the other stuff he wants.
Paper Twilight has been a versatile tool in this game for some time now.
Tickets actually. Spot. Sure. Rock.
Starlight, I believe? Yep. Now we're going. Now we're going places.
Mm-hmm.
A3, Starlight. I'll go to Scarface. Confront for 1. Pass turn, calling Troublemaker.
But Taft does still have the window to defeat this Mimics.
It is. There's no new trickery in Cheese's hand.
Flip the crack in the case as well.
Flips the crack.
And we know Cheese does not have a Twilight and Rarity, or at least I don't believe he has a Twilight and Rarity in hand either. So those Mimics are
Doesn't look like it.
actually gone.
There was a Bodyguards to the bottom. I think he already has one in hand.
I believe his draw was an Evil Twin. Yep.
He already has one of those as well.
Good news for Cheese is Taft did flip his staff, which means it's impossible for him to confront anything right now.
A1.
Another paper twilight. Let's keep this action token train going.
Thing is, Cheese does know that Taft has 2 Catajacks in hand, so he's going to be careful, I assume, about overexposing himself.
That is true. He did manage to get rid of the barrel, but there are more to be found.
Let's join the herd as well.
Past that.
Okay. I'll move to score phase. I'll confront for 1. I will discard this for white, and then for hand limit, and then discard 2 things. I know, they are so useful.
You can check your own board. It's amazing.
Fantastic.
You're 5.
Yes, I'm at 5. I sadly can't call Troublemaker anymore. I was about to say it too, and then I was like, oh.
Alright, so Taft can get back to villains. Or epics, rather. He has no villains.
Now he has a villain.
For 2 Troublemakers? Okay.
Storm King to his own problem. Chrono Trigger to Cheese's.
Sure. He would appreciate that Chrono Trigger going off. So, or, well, the trigger's happening. I don't know if he'd necessarily appreciate it actually blowing up.
Okay. Gain 3 still. 7. Taking this one.
Ooh. He's bottom's a glimmer. But, yeah, it's not what he needs right now.
Draws a nap cakes instead, which isn't either.
That's gonna happen.
Oh, he has a bait and switch and a Discord. Is it worth it just to play them both so that you have immediate bait and switch?
He's thinking about it.
Play this here. Start the face off here, you move an opposing character.
Presumably, as soon as he discords, if I was Taft, I would use that Sepakli attack. So that bait and switch is banished forever.
Oh yes, Chipacli attack is definitely a good response to Discord.
Play bodyguards. Something like that.
There you go. Right,
There's the Discord.
there we go. He knows what's up.
Cheese should get a
Yep.
unicorn for bait and switch leaving play.
He should. Yep.
It's possible that Taft's response was so fast it distracted him.
Yep. It is an optional trigger. It's not something that needs to be intervened on.
Turn. And getting rid of this.
He remembers it that time.
Yeah. So overall, this game, Taft is looking a lot better.
That unicorn token will not live long because
That's
that is
true.
where he played the villain. We'll have to pay the Storm King tax on a usually free move.
Did you exhaust her to move?
No.
Oh, for that. Sorry. Yeah. Okay.
And presumably goes for it. He knows the cracking the case is gone and Cheese only has 1 AT. No prepared. It should do it, I think.
Yep. Flips a 7 against a 5.
Okay. If he actually beats that Pony of Shadows, that will be well, the end of... It'll be a really good play.
It will.
Okay.
We'll create a few more of those unicorn tokens. However.
Cheese does find his Twilight and Rarity. A little bit too late, though.
He elects to draw it.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Taps, Cat, and Jacks are both in hand, so that Pony of Shadows won't do anything.
That is true. 2 in hand and 1 in discard.
So Twilight and Rarity can only pull a Mimics, I'm pretty sure.
I think he has played with rubber earlier.
Oh, he does. Okay, fair enough.
Should still be in the pile.
We'll get rid of the school shutdown.
He says while eyeing up the school shutdown in his own hand. That does need to go to banish instead of discard.
That's right. TP, if you're listening, Flash Magnus' shield to the banish. There you go. Okay.
Get rid of this. Put this into play. I'm gonna look at the top card of my problem deck. from bodyguards. Okay.
It's an unusual ability, that bodyguards.
Okay.
Don't see it too often.
Often I suspect used as a more as a retire a friend outlet than it is for the effect.
But quite relevant in a
I'm totally fine with that.
deck with,
But it certainly can help.
yeah, especially since he's got bait and switch.
You can put him up just here.
No. Put it in a place where there's no glare, please. Okay. Join the herd and beam cannon. Okay.
Versus a nap cakes.
Taft is 5 on 7 with a prepared.
Prepared one.
So I will move to start the face off, and I will push her home. Obviously, you still get the AT, but at least it causes you to have to bodyguard stuff.
That looks good for Taft.
I have 5, 8.
Okay.
School is shut down.
Or wait, sorry, yeah.
Yeah, school shut down is a surprisingly low flip.
And I've gotten rid of 2. Not in there, it's in the discard.
Right, because you discard.
No, I only got rid of 1, I guess. Was this the very?
Must have been last.
No, because I chose that one, yeah. Okay. So I think there's still 1 left.
Of course, even with no Catajacks in the remaining in the deck, an effect of beating up Pony of Shadows will still be to shuffle the deck,
That is true.
potentially moving flipped cards closer to the top again.
You call it orange? That's fine.
Okay. There's only one reason he calls orange.
There is.
Alright. Taft does have to decide which troublemaker to keep first.
I have to resolve first.
Alright.
Pony of Shadows.
Cheese, you keep the bodyguard, I guess? Or one of his AT gens, maybe.
Okay. So I'll keep Selena. I'll get rid of 3.
I'll keep Selena, he says, while keeping Paper Twilight.
Yeah, you do have to get rid of that paper twilight there.
I think he just said the wrong friend.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
I don't even know.
I'm sorry, I didn't even look.
Yeah, that's just Alex. Flip the Selena. Game 4 up 6. It's on the start of his turn.
Oh.
Probably.
Tease wants bait and switch. He doesn't have one in his hand right now.
No. Right.
And there it is off the top.
Oh, look at that.
Now he doesn't have the pink for it right now. have a fire.
I'll pay 1.
Nope, he's looking for pink wreck.
The fire will let him play another pink friend, but he won't be enough on its own to play bait and switch.
Oh, that's... Well, no, he has training traditions, right?
Oh, does he still have training traditions?
Yes. Why, is he shooting for the party of one? Yeah, he must be shooting for the party of one now.
White.
I'm just curious what you like.
Party of 1.
Alright, that also works. He has a number of unicorns. Or no, he doesn't. He does not.
Oh, you're right. I did. That's fine.
Taft makes a good spot there. She's already had enough white unicorns.
End of turn, calling. I'll call pink.
Alright, there's pink.
Pass.
Okay. 1 fire pink, 1 fire white.
Sure. Remember the chrono trigger? Okay, that's a Selena on top.
That was your last.
Yes, it is.
And a barrel underneath. Okay.
Oh. Is it not? That was being last game again. Okay. Yeah, never mind. Okay.
Okay. Taft should go for it. Oh. From across the board, Josh Stueck is our first finalist.
Let's go to next game. You get this one.
And Cheese concedes.
All right, we're going to a decider.
I don't really care about your sneak attacks. I enjoyed that you had no more cat attacks.
So yeah,
You could only hard cast.
Bugle will not be making the 3-peat. It will instead be somebody else this year. And yes, this match will go to a deciding game 3 with probably something like 40 or 50 minutes left on the clock, I think.
This might be the most grindy match in the entire collection.
Yeah.
It seemed like Luna's match yesterday.
Was it just hard aggro versus?
It's down like 2 to 12.
Like
The first set 2-1 or? Oh, that game.
You were down 2 to 12.
Oh yeah. Finally got. He only had 2 cards that could get past Trollmakers. And one was gone. I don't think so. He only had. Sorry, he had 5 dilemmas, but I think I got rid of most. He might have had another one.
No, that's not true. If Cheese wins,
What?
let's see. 1-1. Yeah. We went 6-5.
Eagle, who won? Good.
if you win 2,
Not yet.
We're 1
That's my
1-on-1.
gotta get
Ooh.
the
Cheese. Have you won yet? Not yet. Ooh.
At least this isn't as bad as their match 2 years ago at the top, too. Where no one was like, well, you can win a match by scoring no points.
That looks like an okay hand there for Cheese.
One has a much grayer beard. I'm gonna go first.
I will know.
Deciding if I'm gonna mull or not.
Taft, I don't think I saw any troublemakers in there, so
That
Easy mull for him.
so doesn't
Matter 90% of the time.
99.9.
it's very rare that you're going to change your decision to mulligan
And it only hurts you.
based on whether your opponent does.
Although with no troublemakers in hand, it's like,
No, you should keep that.
she's assuming you're not actually at 5 points.
Correct. Goes 0.
Really? Not top,
So you did not have that. Yeah, this is a bad one.
I'm gonna mull.
like, I can hardly speak just with the drainage. I have some ability. I might give her one.
Cheese is going to go looking for something better.
That's yeah, somewhat understandable. The hand was playable, but he certainly could have had better ones.
1-1.
I mean, when I was trying to say that, Tara, he just scowled and walked away.
This could get better for him, it could get worse. We'll see.
Well, Taft's looking at a much better hand over there.
Oh, yes.
And yeah, Cheese has got something playable as well.
Okay. Spend 2.
A quick flip of the Tempest.
Pass turn.
As before, Mimics and Paul Troublemakers.
Don't even have to spend my own troublemakers to flip.
Correct.
Moves into position to challenge the Mimics.
Mm-hmm. Well, expect Cheese to file off with Paper Twy. Yep.
Cheese wants to
And-
start generating AT.
That's another Mimics, I think.
Troublemaker.
And here we go. Opening face off of 5 against 6.
Face off. Sure.
One prepared, Cheese?
Game 1.
Yep,
That's good.
Donking is a good flip.
He's opening face off so crucial. Although this time I believe Cheese does have a Twy rarity in hand.
They really are. Although not as important as they were with Applejack Farm. That was, once it gets going, it's unstoppable.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
Yep, still can't afford to pay Troublemakers, even with the Mimics gone.
It slows me down, but it's also something that has to happen.
Bottom.
Cheese have a path to white? That's the question. But I imagine he'll Twilight and Rarity right away if he can.
+3.
Or, oh, for the +3 counters.
Does have a fire of friendship to get him into white.
Well, that does make it a lot harder for Taft to deal with it. 5 on 8 is doable, but it is a lot less certain.
I'll move to face off.
And school shutdown will not be enough.
Oh, that's right. 9. That's correct. This time, Taft has just had enough of these shenanigans. Likes to ditch the mimics right away. Here we go. Mimics on the other problem.
There it is.
Pass turn calling Troublemaker and event. Yep. I assume this is gonna happen.
Alrighty. Looking at 5 against 6.
I'll move to face off.
If that does it, yes.
That is enough.
This matchup essentially is the story of these early turns. Whether Taft can establish himself a board position where the mimics are gone, or whether Cheese can stabilize his wall. This game looks a little like game 2, with the chief exception that this time Cheese has his AT generator on early, and he has a Twilight Rarity in play.
That is a grubber, as Taft knows it has to be, as there are only 2 mimics in the deck.
You did get 3 AT last round, right?
Yes. Yeah, from 1 to 4. Calling Troublemaker.
Of course, Taft is going to go for it. 7.
Oh, flip to 7.
Will do it.
Barrel, white.
Oh, the white, that's a throne.
I should know if you have this right.
Most likely.
Cheese has a Luna's Future in hand, though, so it's not a huge deal to him.
Oh yeah, that.
Come on.
Oh, yeah.
Farm card. I will move to confront for one.
Single problem face off.
And that just means that I don't have
+1 to play a card during the face off.
Sure. And then
Flip card flips.
Okay.
which I don't think you have any.
Another pony shadow slip.
So I'll go up to 6, 18, ridiculous. Top card.
As the cracking the case, he's going to want to hold on to that.
I think Cheese just always gets rid of the school shutdown if he sees it.
It's got a pretty good record of it so far.
You got some.
And it's been rare he's used a grubber and not seen one.
Trigger. I think I'll get rid of school shutdown.
There it is.
So we'll toss this. Wait. Not wait, sorry. Token. Spend 2 in a lowest future. Sorry, this thing. That was a weird one. Yeah. No, sorry. You can do it.
I have 2.
Oh, sorry, you do have 3. Okay. No, you're good.
Right. Just no. None of that for you.
Okay. Core phase, nothing, pass turn.
Well, Taft's got a healthy stock of troublemakers.
Yep, and no tax to play this turn.
I believe he's going orange for his Catajack, though. By the looks of it.
Does look it. Yep.
Cheese, you do get to keep one of those.
Cheese should be keeping one friend.
Then, yeah.
I move to confront for a point.
Sure. Gaining 4 + 5. Draw card. Oh, yeah.
Likes to keep the misfire. Is probably fine.
Discard piles are getting bigger, and Cheese has a mist main as well.
Mm-hmm. Sonata is useful for the brief moment that Taft has a friend on the field. Mm-hmm.
Belly flops her directly without using her steal first.
Oh, and there's this sparkly attack. Well, I suppose it wouldn't have helped last turn, but... No trigger. 16. Gives himself some options.
Mm-hmm. No use for a party of one at the moment. I see a bait and switch in those three. Oh, he's getting rid of it.
Does he already have one in his hand? Perhaps?
That's possible.
No, that's a Sonata.
It is. It's Sonata, Evil Twin, and Mistbane, I think, are his friends there.
I'm gonna choose... I don't think it really matters which one flips over. Chrono Trigger.
They're both
Unicorns.
6 power. They both frighten the unicorn.
Yeah, that unicorn's gone. Thank you.
Face off.
By the end of 6. One down.
Matching flips.
That'll be a join the
Join the
herd.
herds.
Join the herd.
And she's going to use his cracking the case.
And a crack.
Fair enough.
So I still have priority, right?
Yeah, you're priority now.
Misfire. Misfires as soon as that crack hits the discard pile. Which makes some sense. Taft draw? I don't know if Taft had his draw off of that misfire.
Join.
I think that Catajack might be new to his hand.
Oh, okay.
Well, I'm not certain.
Yep. That join the herd means he does still confront.
Yep, that lasts until the end of the turn.
Okay, well, this time, Cheese is very willing to take that bait and switch.
set this. Exhaust three.
Enters his hand is pretty good for cheese. And that is just more ET for him. Now this is starting to resemble game one a little bit.
Exhaust. Pass.
Does seem like it might be turning slightly more his way.
Well, flip the Vicious Vengeance. Oh, no. Sure. Sorry, he played another Starlight. Okay.
Yeah.
I thought he played Chrysalis there. Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. Has the AT to just Catajack again. It looks like that's what he's going to do.
And there he does. What is Cheese going to keep?
He doesn't have a Discord in hand, otherwise I'm sure he'd keep bait and switch. Selena is the other natural choice.
Yeah.
You have to process tokens first before I have the thought.
Silver lining for cheese in that,
Big old pile of prepared.
yeah.
Exhaust dash up.
Inning 4. Heat. Start. I think we draw first. Selena.
I think Taft may be willing to even just face off into all of that. He's ahead. He needs to take advantage of this kind of lull in Cheese's board while he can.
You have two mimics in here.
Yeah.
I don't want to touch the start.
Yes, there are two mimics in there.
Taft just confirming that that face down troublemaker is indeed another grubber.
Chrono.
Yep.
Chrono Trigger will banish some cards. Ooh.
Also,
That's a rest in pieces and I have no idea.
Oh, as we saw him put them on top with Selena.
Mm-hmm.
I remember the resting pieces going there, but I didn't see the other one.
Should be good, yeah. Takes Taft up to 10.
It's a pretty strong lead, but we have seen
Yeah, we have
Big
seen
Cheese's deck come back from the brink.
come back from worse than this. White probably is what he'd name. I think he may have a throne in hand. Yeah. And especially knowing that the rest in pieces is gone.
exhaust staff. Go up against.
One of the Salinas, I think. Yep.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Temp 3 on dish. I'll move to confront for it.
Sure.
That does bring me up to 11. Skip 5
Ridiculous.
The other card was Misfire. That she's banished.
So Troublemaker phase. Flip up.
Good point. Cheese does have the out of just banking up a pile of AT and mismating. He needs 13, so he needs 39 AT to win with just mismains. But he's getting there.
He's getting there.
Yeah, a lot of AT. Oh, we can play these. No, wait, well,
Yep, if he can stall the game for long enough, that eventually happens.
Yeah, bait and switch this problem makes sense.
okay. That is
Blackmail. Ooh.
Blackmail will help.
I feel like we're watching a greatest hits reel of Equestrian Odysseys and Sequestria Block Control. Paper Twy and Blackmail
Yeah.
and
Well, this is the last tournament to be held while this is the current core setup.
fire at.
Is that like
You don't have enough for it.
no.
that is correct? I
Yes, he's right.
get into it.
He did not have enough pink for bait and switch.
Do that real quick. I understand. But I just
I will have to.
Okay, Cheese fixes that up.
Yes. That's why I knew what was on top of me. Sorry about that. I'll pass turn.
Yes, this is the last time to play Equestrian Odyssey's block outside of Harmony. So hopefully we can give them a fitting farewell here.
Thanks, Trixie. So if you're Taft, you're not confronting a problem this turn. There's one blackmail point for sure.
barrel hand.
But you can certainly get ready to fight some troublemakers. Move Dash to blackmail and Applejack to, well, I guess it doesn't matter who goes to unreasonable demands. Can't confront it anyway.
Yep. We're going to need both to confront blackmail, so
Two to move Catterjack.
let's move both there.
Mm-hmm.
I was about to ask, can you take a frips in this?
Yes, it is. And 5. One. Top. This up to.
Should be just under 15 minutes remaining till hard time now,
So,
if I'm counting correctly.
play 2
Still plenty of time for Cheese.
for bodyguards. I got. Where were you? Actually, no, sorry, get rid of that. Then we're gonna pay. Banish that. Pay 3. Get back to this future. Pay 2. Banish your stickers. Pay 1. Play that. Banish card from hand. Retire. Game control. And
Oh, good point.
Yep. Sonata does not have abilities there.
Chief was playing with urgency that round.
He was doing some significant clearing up of Taft's board.
I'm not sure if he
It's been
can.
brought to a halt in the middle of it.
Not sure if he can remedy this one.
And I don't think I see a tool that can get rid of a Catajack from there.
It'd have to be a belly flop. Oh, wait. He does have a belly flop.
Oh! He hasn't found one.
That was a hell of a turn, man.
Discord the bait and switch? Yep. There's a lot of AT spent on stuff other than Mistbanes.
Yep. But he has completely removed Taft's board with the exception of the one villain.
He's got to fight.
He has.
He's
winning against Trixie.
gets
There
bait and
comes-
switched. Yeah.
Bait and switch back.
Hey, just don't flip into another blackmail, please.
It's true, that does get rid of the blackmail regardless.
One to draw.
Gets up an entrance exam, which means his main can now join in the AT Gen party.
Alright, also Starlight Glimmer and a Vicious Vengeance. So he gets himself a challenge next turn.
And also pushes all of Cheese's friends away.
Good point. Again, Cheese's deck is looking pretty thin.
We only have 2 eccentric here.
He discorded the bait and switch again, I think.
That's what I saw.
And moves to confront entrance exam. Yeah, Cheese is definitely aware of his time crunch at the moment.
Oh, yes.
Are you double confronting? Are you double confronting? What? Double confronting? In metal.
He is.
Looks like it.
Oh, that's fine. So,
I
7.
don't think you realised it, but he is.
That's yours.
And wins. Pretty easily.
Yep.
Unreasonable demands. I will banish Discord.
Ooh, that unreasonable demands trigger though.
This will go away. This will play.
Yes, correct.
Before any problems are replaced?
No, this is when this problem is solved. Just a second.
Uh-oh, trigger order.
Alright, is there a priority window between solving and...
Between solving and replacing, I don't believe so.
Control versus control farm with weird timing issues.
I mean, pull out Beagle's priority window chart. Or ask him, he's here. But I'm pretty sure there's no priority window between solve and replace.
To be fair, I was out for about the first game and a half.
Oh, thank you. That feels good.
And the processing of replacement is definitely atomic as well. So my guess would be that the problems replace, and then we hit our first priority window where the unreasonable demands trigger can process. And then we get wave, wave, and then bait and switch.
Any problems that each problem faces will resolve. Become solved until the end of the solve step. At the beginning of the end of each phase, instead the priority window opens in each phase.
Oh, it's a separate step, that's right.
Once the solve step starts, the priority will open, the problem will be solved. Processing, the process between that priority window.
Okay.
Okay,
So
so the solving and the banishing and the bringing back of Pinkie Pie seems to come in first. Oh!
wait, so that problem will stick around though, right? Because
No,
a face-off
no
was... But a face-off was not conducted at that problem.
That is true. There was no face-off at blackmail, so it will not get replaced again.
If Grandpa's is listening. Yeah, there was no face-off at the blackmail that entered play, so it shouldn't get replaced during the solve step.
It's the problems that become solved, not the problem areas.
If anything, Cheese, I'm really glad this match is on stream.
The step of the solve step is to replace any problems which are solved.
That's what I was wondering about when you immediately went for it. I was like, wait a second, why was that on mine but not yours?
If I blackmail put on them, accidentally did an extra one. That one should be on the bottom. My fish goes.
No, it never happens. This
Alright.
was-
Oh, sorry. Oh, yes, below that. Okay.
I watched you do a reach and where I don't need situations.
Okay. Yeah, this should be on the bottom. Yeah. Okay.
In the interest of open information, okay? Next problem on this guy is necessarily.
That is the +1 for each travel.
Okay, and it is now
It's another minute on.
Taft's turn.
I get 4 tokens.
Gotcha. So you guys are up to 6 minutes.
Presumably that pile of unicorns at home should have been part of the retiring to home limit.
I feel like it, yeah. Cheese has a number of things at home right now.
So I'll do this classic trick. Matches up here. Start of the face off, I'll push a prepared token home. Okay.
Alright, 5 on 7. Oh, he's got to join the herd. Tied again?
It's
Staff will do
with
it.
the flip card that doesn't help.
Scores 2 to 13.
That's
Is it orange? He does have the
Has enough AT to counterjack. That might set Cheese back too far.
It might just. Yep, no confront. Possible.
Taking this one. Sure. Cost. 7.
6 minutes.
You're at what, 13? So I need a lot of points.
Miss main number is 18 now, but Cheese is gonna take him some time to get there.
Oh yeah. It's back down to 1 AT generator. Oh, he's also still got 2 resources in play after Catterjack.
Oh yeah,
Unless he played one just now.
I don't believe so.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. So I need. Oh, I can just.
Okay, he passes.
He's aware that Taft can't actually confront either of these problems without some extra power.
It's true.
Which can only come from, what, a stick or a join the herd.
Mm-hmm. Troublemaker works. That face-off will be enough to win. Shield. That blackmail point means it's now 15.
Sure, if I do that. Take a bottom. Let's go to bottom.
We'll lose just a few short.
5 points.
He still has to miss main, of course, to get, well, presumably to get some friend that stops Taft from winning the face-off.
Yes. Bait and switch is a friend that will help. Assuming you can get into pink.
He does have a singing barrel. Okay. That does get rid of the blackmail, but it also, obviously, prevents Taft from, well, now he can just move and confront that.
Yeah.
Well, there's
Well,
a
there's only one point.
well, yeah, there's an epic there.
And also, there's an epic. It's a Storm King, which is expensive to rush up to.
It looks like he's just going to do it. Makes sense.
It does.
This is a game of inches right here.
Oh, yes.
I mean, yes, but I can take my win.
I get the sense there are many other people off screen watching this game right now on the floor.
I'm sure there are.
Okay, so I think my last move here is 5.
Oh, he's gonna evil twin Catajack. It's all he can do. Yep.
I think I messaged that. Would you like to
Which-
get rid of it?
Alrighty. Face off is 9 against 6.
Draw. Now start a turn. Move to face off.
It's 13.
9, 13,
That should be it.
15.
Oh, what a game.
And there it is. He seems happy.
Wow, it's his first time Continentals finalist. And what a match to get there.
I knew you had.
That was a fantastic match.
I had set the card. I'd done this, and then I was like, wait a second.
And I called purple because of that, too.
I know. I knew that. I knew you called purple because of that. I just wasn't.
I'm sorry, like, I'm sure I made some mistakes here, too. The biggest mistake no was in the first game. Why didn't just play the points attacks to play
I will chalk that up because I actually once I was at like 10 points I was like, why the hell didn't I do that?
And I was just like so out of it.
Congratulations on getting to the finals. Jeez.
Yes.
Thanks. EO main supreme.
That's what I needed.
Get over here.
Well,
I mean,
unfortunately for him, he is going to have to contain that excitement because he's got a final match to play.
He's got another match